Hello and welcome to Play PSVR 2, the podcast, episode 137. Adam's got the dance on. Adam, I'm going to say it. I don't want you to catch people off guard with it. It's my birthday this week, and we've got an amazing present that we'll discuss later. I got my new hat. I spent the day go-karting and playing putt-putt golf, and the whole time I play putt-putt golf, the whole time I'm thinking, walkabout mini golf is way better than this. Have you had that experience where you do something in real life that you can do in VR and you realize the VR version is way better?
Yeah, because I tend not to get slapped as often in VR as I do in real life, you know?
Who's slapping you in putt putt? Is it
Oh,
moms on the court? Are
oh
you
no, no,
challenging
no,
their
no, no,
kids?
not putt putt, and just stuff in real life in general, you know. Um,
When was the last time you got slapped in the
oh
face?
gosh. I don't know if I've ever actually been slapped in the face.
Man,
Um,
I know it's happened because
I
I
don't
remember
I
one
don't
time.
think I've ever been slapped in the face.
I think one time. I think it might have been when I asked my wife to marry me. No, that's
She's like, no, dude,
I
I
can't.
feel um I mean I gotta eat a bean. I forgot it was your birthday. I don't even know what day it is.
I,
It's it's bean time. I'm a
it's
horrible host. I'm a horrible
you
friend.
forgot it's my birthday.
I sure
So it's
did.
bean time for you. Okay, that makes sense. Adam, while you choke down that bean, yeah, spin that bad boy.
Oh.
I just want to let you know I have been sorry. I want to say sorry to all the listeners. The
Spoiled milk.
audio quality was not great the past couple of weeks because homeboy, all right, choke that down. Your homeboy got a PlayStation Portal. I had to rearrange my internet setup so I could maximize my connectivity when I'm laying in bed playing PlayStation Portal connected to my PS5 upstairs. And guess what? It ruined my internet. So I fixed it. I think we're going to be good. Good sound quality. Also, I just want to say that's an interesting looking gamer juice, Adam. Is the drink green or is the bottle green?
Oh. It is freeze kiwi and lime flavored drink. I think
Is it an adult beverage?
mm, I don't. I know. No, it's not. I actually wonder if it's a mixer, and I'm drinking straight
It's
mixer.
just drinking straight mixer. It looks like a mixer. It looks.
I'm drinking straight mixer. I think the bottle. I think I did because it's everything on it says mix.
It looks like him. That happened to my dad. I got him this drink from
It looks
Japan.
good though.
I got him this drink from Japan called Calpis, and it's like a sweet drink, almost like milk, but like sweet, lemony, and it's good. And I got him like a can so he could mix it. You dilute it with water so that you can like have lots of it. And he just drank the concentrated drink straight from a carton, and he loved it. And it was just straight mixer, and he had no idea. So you're like my dad, Adam.
I wish I were your dad. Holy crap, do I wish I were your dad? But um I'm not. And it's actually pretty good. It didn't go well with spoiled milk, but it's not bad. Kiwi and lime, that's my gamer juice. Let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah, I
What's
got to do my
yours?
gamer juice, Adam. I got to do my gamer juice. My wife hooked me up with this. I don't know where she got it. It's it is. It looks like a G Zone energy drink.
You gotta hit that G zone.
The G Zone energy. It says crazy vacancies. God Mango Energy, and welcome to Crazy Island. Gonna be. It's blast off from Earth. Galaxy trip. This I don't know which one of these is the name. Let's get into the G zone.
it's a, it's a hint. She's like, take me to the G zone. I don't know. You don't know where it's at.
You've
Because birthday, there's always birthday sex. This is your next chance, man. This might be your last chance.
a hint. I've been too lazy recently. I've been too lazy. Gotta, gotta raise up the energy. Get into the G zone.
Great on you, just me laughing at a freaking G zone. I'm gonna crap my pants.
This is everybody. Just before we started, Adam said, "I got to figure out how to keep this quiet so my neighbors don't hear me." We're recording on an abnormal night for us, and Adam can't keep it together. He's about to lose it.
So funny. If you find this funny, please send us an email. Contact at playpsvr.com. Copy a YouTube, make a comment. Twitter, Reddit, if you're Gabachito, anything. Please tell me that you also think that's something hilarious. Okay. Speaking of sending us comments, it's perfect time to go into the fan shout outs. So man, I gotta get back on it. I gotta get focused here.
Yeah,
A Boyd Citizen. We were talking about how Horizon Call of the Mountain was. I'm not gonna hash into it. We talked about it a little bit last week, and he was like, "Call of the Mountain, 8 hours my butt." But I don't want to get censored. He didn't say butt, folks. He said, 8 hours my butt. I beat it in about 4 hours and thought it was a ripoff. Exactly. That is what I'm talking about. The whole atrocious payment for entertainment value. Like the ratio there is way off. Alex is like, well, I would see a movie for $69.99 and that's only 2 hours. So as long as it meets that, I'm not like that. Most people aren't like that. If you don't, I think $5 per hour worth is the absolute most you should ever consider purchasing something. You know, I think that's pretty freaking fair. Alex, do you have any comments on Void Citizen or Void Citizen there?
I can't say too much. I haven't beaten the game. I assumed it was about 8 hours long. I feel like how long could be
so
there was 8 hours
okay,
of content.
So you incorrectly said, okay, now I get it.
This is me getting corrected. I'm not, listen, there are better things for me to do than play Horizon Call of the Mountain right now. I mean, I got it because it basically, you had to get something with your PSVR 2. We didn't know that the PSVR 2 is going to have these sweet bangers ready to go. I mean, we knew about Resident Evil 8 and Gran Turismo 7. But yeah, I don't know when I'm ever going to go back to Horizon Call of the Mountain. It looks good. I'm
you
sure
still
it's really
haven't beat Astrobot. You're never going to go back to it.
Well, when Astrobot gets remastered for the PSVR 2, then I'll beat it.
Man, that is sweet. That's good. I don't know what the second one from B Green even means. Do you know what this means?
So we were talking about gaze tracking.
Oh, GAZE tracking.
Yeah, GAZE tracking. And he's like, what the F is gaze tracking? And he's talking about like gay people tracking.
That's actually hilarious. Holy crap, that is funny. I didn't know what he meant. I was so confused.
And Corporate Zombie followed it up and said that it's when you're watching to see who checked out Adam in his white pants.
And he did also mention with the white pants again, with the white pants on, everyone will be able to tell if Adam shrunk the kids, which I don't even know what that means.
It's a reference to you looking like the dude from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I like it. That's clever.
Yeah, but what does that mean what does it mean to shrink the kids? Is that a euphemism for something?
Yeah, and your balls would be shrunk. Your ball, yeah, white materials see through if wet. Just basically, you could take any gerund phrase and drop it into a sentence, and it can sound like a euphemism for like something about testicles.
But it's not. Like, I can't, like, if you were like, man, you shrunk the kids, like, that's not a thing.
Not
right?
standard, no. But in this context, it's pretty funny, yeah.
Okay. And he was like, white material, because I tried to return the pants. I'm not able to.
Yeah.
And he said, white material is see-through if wet. Did you have a little accident? That would explain why the return wasn't accepted. Zombie. No, I wasn't wearing them when I returned them. I had them in my hand.
He had to take them off, Zombie, because he got his G-zone wet when he was wearing them, and he had to change pants.
That's right. Anyhow,
Adam,
we got a lot of comments on the last episode, emails, all that good stuff. Thank you for those comments. We're going to continue to shout them out because we need to.
Adam, one time I want to tell you a story. One time I went on a boating trip with my friend and his family, and I didn't have any swimming trunks, and so I wore basketball shorts instead of swimming trunks. And I just thought, hey, it's material. You don't have to wear underwear with it because we're going swimming. and I got out of the pool or out of the water, and you could see everything. And I didn't know you could see everything. You ever have that happen where like you don't realize how transparent what you're wearing is when you like
Mm-hmm.
look down, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very transparent. You could see everything going on there. And my friend's aunt was like, "Hey, Alex, I think it's like gotta be careful with those shorts." And I was like, "No, no, it's good." The whole
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
weekend,
wearing them. I'm gonna keep wearing
whole,
them. That's good.
whole weekend, I'm just showing his whole family my
That is awesome.
how
I
I
love
shrunk
it.
the kids. Yeah,
Oh, I shrunk the kids one time when I was, what was that? Fourth grade? I may have been in, no, I was in fifth grade, and I got off the track bus, and I just happened, I wore these shorts. It was tracked, so they were loose fitting, and there wasn't a whole lot of structure to them. I guess, I don't know how to say it. I wasn't fully erect. I guess I had a little chub. And the girls saw and they thought it was hilarious and they kept mentioning it. But I'm like, no, that's not what that is. Like maybe it just happened, you know, it's a
that's
little
not how it
thicker than
works,
normal or
girls.
something, but I don't have an erection. And that was with me all the way through high school. Just those three girls who saw it. And so that's how I shrunk the kids. We both have good short stories. I think yours was better than mine, but I had to compete. You won up to me again.
I think yours seems a bit more formative than mine, but yeah, that's
Yeah, oh yeah, it was what are you gonna do? Also, I do want to give a shout out to Gabachito. He was one of the winners of the roast box, and ultimately he said he wanted the rubber chicken that I destroyed live on air. And he already has a picture of me holding his mom's body. And that's because my mom left one of hers after her visit to him. Boom. And of course, he hit us with a blammo. And he said that his gift, what we could give him, Alex, or I guess specifically what I could give him as the winner, is for me to purchase Propagation Paradise Hotel because it is a good horror game. And
yeah. But you
that's
can
the gift I could give to him. So I'm gonna do this for you, Gabachito. But seriously, if you want the letter, the stuff, we assumed that, we don't know where these people live. We assumed it was going to be a bit much. If not, it's just going to go to the next sorry sap next year who wins the roast box.
double
So
roast box. Yeah, I got to
double
reach out to
roast
Shafe to
box.
get his address so I can
That's
send him my
right.
sex. I found the sex chair, so it's going in there
It's
along with summer
used, but he
lesson.
found it.
It's slightly used,
Yeah.
slightly, but
Yeah.
used.
Speaking of horror, because what you just said, a used sex chair sounds atrocious. And thankfully it's Shafe who's getting it. But my gosh, that should terrify anybody. I don't want to do a formal review of Very Bad Dreams, but Alex, if you remember, this was a game, 2 months ago? I purchased it knowing it was pre ordering, but I thought it was going to come out in like 2 days for Halloween. Or
Yeah.
I think it was October 14th. I thought it was coming out. I was dead wrong. It came out like a month and a half after that. Game finally came out. Here are my thoughts, and you can critique me. I don't care. Your opinion doesn't matter. I'm going to rate it. I'm going to berate it, and then we're going to put it on the list and move on. Dude, it's not scary. It's not good. Let's just be honest. It's not scary at all. They do a couple things that are like kind of maybe creative, more the psychological thriller stuff, but most of it is cliche. The graphics are abysmal. I mean, PSVR 1 at best, which is highly disappointing for the PSVR 2. We should not have games with graphics this poor. Most of them not only are the actual objects and environments just like super pixelated, but it's like dark. So most of the game, you're just in darkness, which admittedly can increase it being scary, but this isn't in a good way. There are no jump scares. There are no true moments like in Resident Evil. Your mind gets tricked, like, oh, they're chasing me. That monster's after me, and like you have a visceral response. This doesn't do that. It's also incredibly boring. It glitches. It's very unstable. It's like every other day I boot up my PSVR, a new patch is downloaded for it. Like, dude, come out with the game that works. I think, the second level, and I had to quit playing for 4 days because I couldn't pass it. the game like it glitched. It wouldn't let you progress, even though I even looked up how to do it. One of the patches fixed that, thankfully, but like it's almost a double-edged sword. It's so glitchy. When you're in the game, you don't know, is this supposed to happen or is this not? And some of the stuff that's not supposed to happen actually is kind of cool. So, I mean, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. They're probably not a good thing, but some of the experiences were interesting because of that. It's about 4 hours. You're going to pay $25 for it. That doesn't meet my threshold, not my $5 per hour goal. And it's one thing if it's like a Resident Evil 4 hours, that's just incredible. But this isn't that. It's like a boring, please just let this be over. And they're going to come out with DLC and things. And it's just like, I don't want to play it. Like, that's obviously not a sign of a good game. Overall, I gotta do a hard pass. It's not scary. It's boring. The graphics are bad. It's glitchy. I have a hard time coming up with anything positive to say about it in all reality. I mean, it's a horror game. There's only like 4 of them on the PSVR 2. So, I mean, it's got that going for it. But of the horror games that I have played, I would say it's the worst. You obviously hate Switchback, Alex, and I haven't played Switchback yet, so I can't say which is worse of these two. But it's not very good. Very disappointing because if you remember when we watched the trailer, it looked good, right?
It looked real good. Yeah, the trailer looked real good. It has
the foundation and the concept to be really good. It's just not. And it sucks because I see the developers added some personality into it. And there's some things they did that were clever. And obviously they were trying and things. It's not like they didn't care or maybe they didn't have skill, but I don't know what it is. I can't recommend it. Breaks my heart, but I can't do it. Do you have any questions before I try to? I don't even know where I'm going to put this in the all-time rankings.
I mean, so one thing I want to get out of the gate, I didn't know this. I had a hunch, but I didn't know this. This is apparently already out on the PlayStation VR 1. So this is like an upgrade from a PSVR 1 game.
It better not be an upgrade because
they said that they said that they planned on doing a free upgrade if you had it on PSVR 1, but then because they had already put it on the store, Sony forbade them from doing it. When the game launched, the developers had like a long thing they posted on Reddit of like, we're going to fix this. And Sony QA process has been rough. And that's why they have so many patches because they know there's a lot of work to do. So it sounds like it's going to be getting polished up a little bit. I will say, just reading some of the comments people are leaving about the game, they're saying that, yeah, it's janky and some stuff is broken, but it is very scary. People are saying it's even scarier than Resident Evil Village.
What?
I don't, they're not saying anything specifically about why. They say, yeah, it's rough around the edges.
There's no way.
But a lot of people are
saying.
There
is no, who did you make that comment?
No, this came from Tipsy Sonic. They said, genuinely, I don't freak much when playing games. Even Resident Evil Village in VR was fine for me. But this has made me jump several times and made me panic for a really small team. This game is fantastic. Yeah, it's got a bit of jank, but genuinely for the price, it's fantastic.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I mean, what the heck? I felt things in Resident Evil I've never felt before. I mean, we had people wearing my track pants or not. I never felt that. Okay. Here, no way. I didn't feel anything. And like it's boring. It's predictable. I'm shook. I can't believe that guy just said that. What the heck? Yeah. I don't want to belabor this point, Alex. I'm not moving on my stance. It's not a good game. You should not play it. If you pay any more than $10, you are a grade A sucker. And even then, you only play it if you just have a bunch of time and you like VR. So
obviously this is not guilty. Where are you going to put it though? Is this better or worse than Cosmo Dread or Zenith?
That is where it's at in that vicinity.
Yeah.
My thought is a Thumper works well. Thumper's good. It's worse than Thumper. Okay.
Why is Thumper so low? Why is Thumper below Seek or My Shadow? No way in hell would I ever think Thumper should be lower than Seek. How did that happen? Why did you do that?
Seeker My Shadow isn't a bad game. It really utilizes the one that has co-op. Two,
Listen,
it
you
utilizes the puzzle elements unlike almost any other game that we've played in VR. It's clever. It's just a little infantile.
I watched you play that game more than I care to have watched you play that game, and it made me so mad. And I saw every single thing it was trying to do. That game. Anyways, you talk about me being too lenient on games, and you're over here putting Secret My Shadow above Thumper.
Dude,
Get out of here.
It's 32nd out of 40 games. It's not like I rated it in the top. It's in the bottom half. Okay, up yours. Gosh dang. I guess I would put it above Cosmo Dread. Because Cosmo Dread is just boring and there's no way I would finish Cosmo Dread. This, I'm at least gonna finish. So I'm gonna okay, you're putting it there for me. So we have it at 35. And I think that's fair. Like I said, even if the DLC is free, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to play it. I'll play some more Crossfire. I'll play Resident Evil Village 8 again. If Synapse ever goes on sale, I'll play it. So that's very bad dreams. Unofficial review. Alex, hit me up with some of the initial news, and I think this is going to bleed into the next segment because we
got some stuff to talk about. Yeah,
we've got. Listen, I'm glad I'm not wearing my track pants because I might have a full on Woody. There's no Chubb going to be coming on here.
No kids getting shrunk tonight. Yeah.
If you guys are peruse Twitter, Reddit, you know it's coming. But we're not in the G zone yet.
Not quite yet, Adam. I just discovered this. Perp Games, they make a lot of physical edition of games that people like. They have a mystery box. This has me intrigued, Adam. They have a mystery box. It's 75 pounds, so it's European, but they ship internationally. And what this is how many games? Each box contains 10 physical PSVR games for the PS4.
What PS4? It's going to be like American Dream and what's
maybe.
that? Huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of the games that like Fruity Shooty or Shooty Fruity games that like you don't really want to play again. And if you can't play them on PSVR 2, you're wasting your time. This is just a clever way of getting all their clearance out of stock, man.
And they're making me fall for it, man. I want to see this. We got games like this is supposed to be PS4 games. They're showing me PS5 games. I don't want.
See, now if there's PS5 games on there, then
we're talking about the persistence. You could get that. You got Pixel Ripped, the physical versions of Pixel Ripped. Really, Adam? You're not interested in this at all? This sounds so cool to me.
First of all, it's a mystery. So, yeah, maybe they're in there. But again, it's going to be Shooty Fruity. It's going to be the American Dream. It's going to be Knock. It's going to be games that you probably don't want to play. They may throw one good one in there.
Did they make Shooty Fruity? The thing is, I feel like Perp Games only made like really good games. Like they did Tennis on Court, Adam.
Yeah, and everyone hates it but me. I like it.
Okay, they did Seeker My Shadow.
You're proving my point, I feel like, but
they did the Light Brigade.
Are all of those physical though?
Yeah, they did. They released all these games in physical. Synth Riders, Song in the Smoke, Dyschronia, like a lot of good games that I wouldn't mind having physical edition. Shoot, might even have Star Wars Enhanced. What is this? Desperate Vladivostok? I just bought this for PlayStation VR. Is this coming to PSVR 2? I don't even know. Oh, man.
Okay, so two questions here. One, let's say international, we're in the US, so they're probably going to hit us with what, $30 shipping. You're probably going to end up paying $100 for this thing total,
okay,
right?
So it's like $10 per physical game. I think that's not a bad deal.
That actually is a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
My second question is, and I don't want to be one of these freaking guys, but I have to ask because I'm intrigued. Sometimes when there are games like Mr. Mosquito that no one really cares about, but then years down the road, you look and it's like, oh, a used copy of the PS2 game, Mr. Mosquito, is like $200. Is there any way, any VR game you think something of that type of phenomenon would happen?
Yeah. I mean, here's why I think so. Because a lot of these games at some point they get taken off of the store, and you can't. The only way you can play it is if you have a physical version on disc, like Dirt Rally 2. What is Dirt Rally 2 worth now? Because you can't download Dirt Rally 2.0 from the PlayStation Store anymore. But if you have it on disc, you can still play Dirt Rally in VR on a PlayStation 4. I'm going to see how much Dirt Rally is worth now. But like that kind of stuff happens. Another
How often do
example.
these games get taken off, though? I feel like it can't be that often, right?
Dirt Rally for the PlayStation 4 is going for, okay, it looks like $30. Never mind. That's nothing great. But other ones are saying it's going for like $130. I don't know what's going on here. eBay confuses me like crazy.
So the other worry I have with this, because I mean you piqued my interest a little bit, but dude, it specifically says for the PS4. I mean, so I would have to get this, hope it's a game that I want, and then hope that it's a game with a free upgrade, and hope it's a game that wasn't already free that I have downloaded.
Maybe. What I want to do, I do want to set like a week where I go back and play PSVR 1, if anything, just to like see how
But
far we've
why?
come.
You haven't finished the PSVR 2 games.
Well, apparently, according to you, I have to finish Astrobot.
Dude, you're never gonna finish Astrobot, you butthole.
And now you're not letting me finish Astrobot.
I hate you.
Jeez.
Let's go to the news. That was good though for all of our international or European listeners. That's a good deal. Like even if I'm tempted and I don't even expect to play any of those games because I think it'd just be cool. I mean, look, I got Resident Infinite or Res Infinite right here. Just
Yeah.
having the physical games is cool. So, and they don't take up that much room. Like, they have some good games. Light
I have a
Brigade,
physical version of To the Top. Does that make you happy? Does that make you excited, Adam?
they do.
I do. I bought a physical version of To the Top.
What?
Yeah.
What? How? I didn't
And
know it had a physical version. I would have bought it.
yeah, when it came out, I bought it. It even came with a little collectible card.
You're effing me. There's
I'm not
no.
effing you. It's a little trading card. Like I don't. It's over there somewhere on my desk. I have a little To the Top trading card. You would
I'm call.
love it.
I am calling BS.
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
look
look
To
it
the
up on
Top on
eBay.
eBay. This
Where
is
did
this
you
is
buy it from? I've never
from
seen
the
that.
publisher when it came out. To the Top PSVR. Yeah, it's $40 right now. Limited run games
On eBay.
on eBay right now. $50. You can get To the Top. Dude, if you get this one has a soundtrack. I didn't even know that. You can get it with a soundtrack.
Oh, that's dirty. Oh my gosh. Dude, that game is so good. Why don't
Yeah.
we get a port of that? Okay, let's move on with other news, man. Let's go on with some other news.
Dude, I'm getting excited about PSVR 1 games. Okay, but don't get excited about that because Adam, here's what happened this week, everybody. Adam messaged me and he's like just so bummed. He's like, I played Bad Dreams. It's awful. I don't know how much longer I can do this. PSVR 2 ain't got nothing going on. This is a bunch of horse and it's nothing. I don't even enjoy any games. I need something to look forward to in my life. I'm thinking about selling my PSVR 2, ending it all. And I said, Adam, I need you to hold
I didn't
off.
say that.
No. No,
Fool.
but I try to bring Adam back from the brink. All right, we got a lot of games coming out. I'm gonna read some coming out soon. Among Us VR supposedly comes out on the 5th of this month. I'll believe it when I see it. Don't really care about playing it, but that's going to be a big game people to play. Arashi, Castles of Sin, Final Cut. Adam saw this, got excited about Ghost of Tsushima. That's coming out December 5th. There's a game for you to get excited about, Adam. There's one, Arizona Sunshine 2. I know we're kind of torn on this one, so who knows? So we'll see how that one goes review-wise. I'll probably buy it. Ancient Dungeon. I watched some footage of it. It looks like Minecraft graphics, but the physics of it looks good. Give me that just-in-time incorporated feel. I know you don't care, but it's coming out December 8th. Adam, a big boy, Vertigo 2, coming out December 11th. We're actually getting a copy of that, a code for that, Adam, and you better play it. I'll buy it so I know that you will play it. Five Nights at Freddy's, Help Wanted 2, Not for Broadcast VR, Towers and Powers, Tiger Blade, Chris Payne Hero, and Cube VR. All these games coming out this month, and you're sitting over here like, I don't have enough. And then we have other games that said they're coming out in 2023. They might be coming out this month.
Okay,
Aces,
Before we hop into those, let's finish the segment with the December games. Which
okay.
you just named a bunch of games right here. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Vertigo 2, easily.
Really?
Yeah, that's a game
Not
people are like, this is
Arashi?
no. So Adam, just full disclosure, Arashi came out on PSVR and nobody played it.
Oh,
So maybe it's good. I don't know. I'd need to see the reviews, but it came out. But that's back before you had analog sticks. Maybe they had analog sticks and the game's not weird anymore, right? Like I could see
yeah.
it being better. The trailers look good for it. Vertigo 2, definitely. Arizona Sunshine is a close second. And there's one more game we'll talk about in the next segment. But Adam, we don't have to talk about the other games coming out. I just got to mention Aces of Thunder is supposed to come out this year. I think it's in the QA process. I would love to play that. The big one, Ultra Wings 2. They're right now submitted through Sony's QA process. Did you play Ultra Wings 1, Adam?
I think I did.
Yeah.
I didn't. You loved it. I was like, I played it
awesome.
for like 2 hours and I was like, I'm done.
Dude, Ultra Wings 1 is awesome. I can't wait for Ultra Wings 2. They're gonna have like dog fighting and stuff. Man, it's gonna be so good.
Dude, I'm waiting for D-Day Enhanced.
Yeah, that might be good. D-Day Enhanced.
Oh, wait, it just says X. What is that?
No, that's the social media. Like,
okay.
You click the link, you can see
it's
there.
Twitter. Oh, by the way, I've got a freaking what do you call that? Airing a grievance, and that's not even it. That X is one that will really burn my britches, but we don't got time. Okay, in January, which one of these you looking forward to? I mean, you kind of mentioned Ultra. If you had to pick Ultra Wings or Aces of Thunder, which one?
Ultra Wings, because I know it's going to be high quality. High quality.
I'm not gonna lie, none of these move the needle for me.
Because you have poor taste. You have poor taste. The only way you're going to like a game is if somebody tells you that this is the best game ever and it's not me. You need IGN. Adam's over there just slurping up whatever IGN says. That's my favorite game. Whatever IGN said the best one is this year, that's my favorite one. Adam, let's close out this segment. We got to come back because we're going to drop the big bomb on everybody. I'm sure they already know what it is. We're going to talk about that, and we will see you after the break. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday from Capcom. Happy birthday to me. That is right, everybody. We're talking about Resident Evil 4 Remake VR Mode. It was announced. This is when Adam was giving me his depressing spiel about how sad he is his whole life that PSVR 2 doesn't have enough stuff. Literally hours before he started talking about that, they released the announced trailer. Oh, Capcom was like, oh, we're going to release Resident Evil 4 VR mode in winter. And everybody's like, yeah, of course, it's going to be like January or February. No. They want that sweet cheddar from PSVR 2's being bought over Christmas. They're releasing that bad boy December, 7th? December 8th? I don't know, Adam, because I already have a copy of the game. Adam, Resident Evil 4 Remake, a game that's already up there to be considered potentially a game of the year this year in the flat mode alone. Now has the VR mode, free add-on. How are you feeling about PSVR 2 now, Adam?
I mean, dude, I'm so happy. It is incredible. Resident Evil 8 rocked my world, and the worlds, the atmosphere, the lack of like really plot. I didn't love that aspect of Resident Evil 8, but I still loved the game because the VR was so good. What I feel like Resident Evil 4, and I've never played the game, So I could be wrong, but I know it's a fan favorite. Obviously enough, they did a whole remaster. I feel like it's going to have a more horror factor, like Resident Evil 7 Biohazard maybe did, but then have the utilization of VR like Resident Evil 8 did. I can't fathom a game being better than that. Like if you sat me down, maybe if we're talking about the game that's like Ghost of Tsushima, if that game were perfect, maybe it could compete. But this might be the de facto. It may be the best game we see in years and years. It's
Yeah,
my
it
opinion.
so Resident Evil 4, the original one, phenomenal game. It was a departure for Resident Evil at the time because this is coming off Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Resident Evil 0, the remake of Resident Evil, and Code Veronica. And all of those games had that isometric fixed camera view. And this one, Resident Evil 4, was like, you know what? We're going to mix it up. Instead of this fixed camera view, we're going to be over the shoulder, third person shooter. And people were worried about it. It worked really well. And what it kind of did was made Resident Evil more of an action game than this kind of like puzzle solving, slow paced horror game. But it did it for the better. And it kind of became a celebration of video games. Then, they did make Resident Evil 4 in VR. They took the PlayStation 2 version, put it in VR for the Oculus Quest. And I was worried that it might not be work very well. It worked great. I played through that bad boy and it was awesome. And now here we are on PSVR 2. People talk about I'm tired of Quest ports. Guess what? We didn't get the Quest port. We got the remake, Resident Evil 4 VR remake, and it's looking phenomenal. Doesn't look. I doubt they're going to sacrifice anything, right? Resident Evil 8 looked amazing with the eye tracked foveated rendering. This kind of stuff, it's going to blow my mind. Now, Adam, if you're looking for something a bit scarier, I will say there are elements of this game that are kind of scary, but this is more of an action oriented PSVR. You're like secret agent Leon Kennedy. You're not just some dude trying to get his baby in like a spooky mansion or something like that. There's a mansion. There's stuff going on. There's Romanian zombies trying to kill you, and there's certainly some spooky stuff happening. But I think you need to go into this expecting a bit more action than as much scares as you were thinking.
Which I mean, I watched a trailer. It looked incredible. Trailer looked absolutely impeccable.
Yeah.
You're right. There was a lot of action. I assume they're going to show that in the trailer, but it still looked like good environments. Looked like it could be scary. I mean, Resident Evil 8 was, I feel like it was more suspenseful than it was like scary and action oriented. I feel like Resident Evil 7 was pretty action packed.
Yeah.
But there were enough like jump scares and the environments were good enough that you got into it and you were scared because of that. I mean, that had a lot of suspense too. You didn't know when the enemies were coming. I think that's what gets me the most. If this game has so much action that I'm just like, well, when I turn the corner, I know there's going to be a guy there. Like, if there's that much action, you're right. I think that lessens how scary it is. What made Resident Evil 7 scary in my mind is you didn't know when exactly something was going to pop out. And they really limited the amount of ammo you had. So it felt more like you were truly having to survive. Now, again, Resident Evil 4 may not be like that, but if it's a mix, I would be perfectly fine with that. And the reason I think this might be, we thought Resident Evil 4 might be better than Resident Evil 8, right? Like even the beginning, we're like, dude, 8 is so good, but Resident Evil 4 could be better. I feel like the earlier games got it, whereas the new games sometimes they try to be different, right? And it doesn't always land. So we don't know what Resident Evil 9 is going to be. We don't know when it's coming out, if it'll have VR. So it may be 2 years before we get Resident Evil 9, right?
Yeah.
So then I think this game might be up top for a while. Again, can you imagine a game, even in your wildest fantasies right now, what could you imagine would be better than this? If they just took Resident Evil 8, it's just as good. Everything works as well. The mechanics, but it's Resident Evil 4, the game you love. Is there a game? Maybe Half-Life Alyx? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe Half-Life Alyx. And that's That's a hard maybe. I'm looking at Metacritic right now. Resident Evil 4, the flat version of the Resident Evil 4 remake is one of the highest rated games of all time. It's got a 93 on Metacritic. That's in territory of like Ocarina of Time and Final Fantasy 7 and Tony
So do
Hawk's
you
Pro
think
Skater
that's
2.
nostalgia or like what can a flat game that's a remaster do so well that it gets a 93?
So this be careful. This is not a remaster. This is a bottom to top remake of a game that was originally made on the GameCube. All new assets, new control styles, new engine, and they've gone through and fixed things that were maybe holding the game back originally. So the environments look a lot better. They're a lot scarier. I think some of the combat sequences work a bit more. Back in the day, Resident Evil 4 relied a lot on like quick time events, right? You're watching a cutscene, they say like hit X, and then you dodge out of the way. I think this, I'm not sure, I haven't played this. I think this does away with it a little bit and makes it a bit more enjoyable for those kind of things. But overall, this is a very lengthy game. It's an extremely fun game with a lot of great variety in it. And
What do you think length is? Are we talking like 15 hours?
I think your first playthrough is probably going to be like 15 hours or something like that, unless you're like following a guide. I just remember the game seemed to go on forever when I very first played it back in the day on GameCube. I was like, I think this game probably could have stopped 3 hours ago and I would have been happy. It took a long time. Now, me knowing the game very well, it's probably going to take me 6 hours, 7 hours to get through it quickly. But I mean, when the demo for the game originally came out, I played the demo every day. I'd play it once or twice every day because it was so fun. The first little scene where you go into the town and you start getting attacked. One thing that's really cool about this one, as compared to like say Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil 7, is Resident Evil 8 and 7, they get scary because you're fighting these like pretty dangerous monsters, right? These dangerous enemies, and there will be like two or three. Like if there's two or three werewolves, then like you're stressed out. This one has like easier monsters, easier enemies, but it comes at you with the volume. And I'm thinking there's a area early on where you're like trapped in a house and you just have to survive. And they're coming in through the windows, they're coming in through the doors, they're coming up the steps, and you're just trying to survive while guys are just coming at you at this high volume. Like that kind of stuff is what gets you amped up in Resident Evil 4. And I'm so excited to see it happen. And like I always forget the second half of the game, just because it's so far removed from the initial point. But Adam, you are in for such a treat. You've never played Resident Evil 4, and you're finally going to get it here in like 3 days. This is nuts. This is nuts.
Yeah, I rushed out. I bought the game on eBay for $30. Dude had an 80% feedback rating. I was worried I wouldn't get it for day one, so I canceled that. Went to GameStop, bought it. I have game in hand. I'm gonna download that puppy, and I mean, I'm probably not gonna do it because I'm a freaking wiener, but I'm tempted to take Friday off work and be like, I'm just playing VR and I'm going to live life and I'm going to play VR. And I might go fish and I'm going to play VR. It would be good. I mean, yeah. So do you think it's going to be the same mechanics as Resident Evil 8? Like,
No,
like oh, you don't?
no, because there's important differences in this game. Like there's like a parry mechanic where like people will do stuff to you and you got to like take your knife at just the right time and like knock them away. Like a chainsaw coming at you, you like hit it with your knife at the right time and it parries them, and then you can do like a counter attack and stuff like that. So I think the mechanics are pretty different. Resident Evil 7 and 8 are very much first person shooter Resident Evil. This is something different. It's got some melee combat to it. Maybe the shooting mechanics will be similar. There's probably some crossover, right? Because it's the same engine, but I think this game plays pretty differently. I could be surprised. Maybe in VR they had to shoehorn some stuff in there.
I mean, Resident Evil 8 was near perfect. That the throwing was accurate. The
Yeah.
everything worked incredible. And again, there were still some errors, like all the cutscenes you could see, like the asset of your forearm like was cut off, and some of the just the cutscenes were a little jacked up. Like it wasn't perfect, but the gameplay portion was perfect. I honestly would like to see them stick with that as much as possible because it works so well. Like, is there, when you think back when you played Resident Evil 8, was there something that you wish they had done better or something that you didn't like?
It's a good question. I think the enemies were a bit too bullet spongy in Resident Evil 8. It kind of annoyed. Like, you got a zombie running at you, you got a werewolf running at you, and you like hit him point blank with a shotgun. And like a lot of times he'll like spasm back or something like that. But like this is that powerful gun, right? It takes a while to reload it because it's like so strong and it just doesn't quite do anything to the enemy. Some of that stuff was kind of annoying. But honestly, the game was just such a pleasure to play through. Like it's bar none one of the most excellent gaming. I went off for 30 minutes on the podcast when after I finished playing it. It was nonstop pleasure and fun, and also one of the scariest experiences of my entire life when you get to that dollhouse. That's like a top 10 gaming moment of my entire life right there, playing that in VR. That's the thing is, I know Resident Evil 4 is probably going to be way better than Resident Evil 8, and I can't imagine what they could do to make it better than Resident Evil 8 because Resident Evil 8 is just phenomenal in and of itself. It's Adam, we're so blessed. We're so blessed. This is the year that PSVR 2 came out. It came out what? February?
February, yeah.
It came out in February, and Adam, regardless of what the naysayers say, we have 1 year, less than a year of PSVR 2 being out, and we already have 2 full Resident Evil games, great Resident Evil games in VR. We have full Gran Turismo 7 in VR, which is still getting new cars, free updates with new cars, new AI, new track. This is insane. We got Synapse came out. That's a world beater game right there. It's a bit short, but it's a phenomenal experience. No Man's Sky finally turned the corner. We just have like this amazing version of No Man's Sky out there. We got people naysaying, people like you naysaying PSVR 2. Put this library up against any other video games library in a year, much less a launch library. This is incredible.
Here's the thing. Well, I do want to address that, but I'm not done with Resident Evil yet.
Okay.
So you think Resident Evil 4 is going to be better?
Yeah.
Why? Is it the plot? Is it the gameplay? Is it like, why do you think it's going to be better?
I think it's the pacing and the level design. I think the level design, of course, I'm basing all this with my experience of Resident Evil 4, the original one, but I don't think they've changed that much to it. The plot is like kind of interesting. It's kind of hokey. It's honestly like seems like almost like a homage to like Metal Gear Solid in terms of how like hokey and weird it is. Like, you know, rescue the president's daughter from an island in Romania with zombies. Like, okay, whatever. That's nothing like gonna really capture my imagination. But the gunplay, when it came out on GameCube back in the day, the gunplay was incredible. The weapons you get, the way you upgrade them, the way you use them, the way the enemies react when you shoot them, the way you have to handle enemies when they're coming at you. You start running out of ammo. How are you going to deal with 4 guys coming at you and you have 3 bullets? What are you going to do about that? That kind of stuff. And it all works so well. The environments work so well. They're ugly and they're murky, but you also love to be there. You love to look around. Whereas Resident Evil 8 had a lot of like that invisible wall stuff going on where like, or that blocked off areas that you just can't go to because they just don't want you to go there because it's, you know, not part of the plot. I think I'm trying to think if this has better boss fights. This has some cool boss fights. I think the boss fights might have been better in Resident Evil 8. I did like the organization Resident Evil 8 of like that hub and spoke where it's like, okay, I'm here. And then I go out to each of these different areas and fight, you know, the big bad guy there. That was really cool. I think the boss fights might be better in RE8. But RE4 has good boss fights as well. They're fun boss fights, and they
Is
get
it
you
a stupid
pumped.
boss fights? If you remember, I complained in Resident Evil 8 that the bosses were like, you face them for the first time, and you just have to learn what gimmick for each boss. And I hate that because it's nothing about skill. It's just, oh, I have, like, if you remember that first boss, I think it's the first one, Resident Evil 8, it was the sisters that turn into like not bees, but
They
I don't
turn
know,
into
some type of
bugs, yeah.
And the very first one you run into, she starts chasing you down and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I died, I bet 6 times because I was like, do I run? Do I try to fight her? do I? And then you're right, they are bullet sponges. So then I shot her for 5 straight minutes. She didn't die. So I'm like, okay, well, I must not have, I can't kill her. So then I tried to fight. I tried to hide. I tried to run. Turns out, yeah, you do end up just having to shoot her for 15 minutes. Like that, I hate. I hate games that you just, I guess you're supposed to die a few times to learn what you're supposed to do. I hate that. It should be simple. You show up, it's you mano y mano, you shoot them dead. None of this bull crap. Like, I'm sure like some of the bosses you had to like hide, and I hate that crap. Is it like that, or is it it's you and the boss, you got to shoot them down?
You and the boss, you got to shoot them down. I don't
Okay, thank
think I
God.
can't recall any bosses that were like a puzzle boss, like what you're talking about.
Even Resident Evil 2, I think, if you remember, you had me play that one, a flat version. And
Yeah.
there was that one boss I despised. It was he chased you down, and then you had to click certain buttons, and that swung like a crane with a big thing that hit him. Then you shot him a little bit, and you had to do that like a few times, but it was so you had to be so exact, and it was
Mm.
horrible, an atrocious boss fight. If it's something like that, I'll be disappointed. But it sounds like maybe we're going to avoid that, and so that will certainly make me very happy.
Yeah, that was the point of Resident Evil 4, was that it was just like, this is an action game now. This series, this game is an action franchise. And so you're getting like rocket launchers, you're getting machine guns, and you're blasting through dudes. And it's a game that's really fun to play through, do the new game plus. I could do new game plus in Resident Evil 8. I kind of don't care about it that much. Resident Evil 4 I played through like 4 or 5 times. Just because it felt so good. So I'm really excited about it. And the enemies are, yeah, just like shoot your brains out, blast these dudes away. It's almost like Metroid in that aspect, right? Like a good Metroid game, the boss fights are hard because it's like there's no trick here. You're not going to do something to secretly freeze the enemy so you can unload on them. You just got to dodge their attacks and shoot them back. And it's that kind of stuff here. It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thought is Sony, going back to your discussion, how we had so many great games, and I mean, we have for this year. The issue is I feel like they're playing with fire. If it weren't for the Resident Evils, which we're not going to have 2 Resident Evils every year. There's no way. We might, if we get lucky, have one a year. We just got lucky this year. Without the Resident Evil games, there are good games, but not, in my opinion, enough to buy a PS5 and then buy a PSVR 2. Spend over $1,000 dropping on this thing and get. I mean, again, there are some good games. Gran Turismo is great. Synapse looks fantastic. I love Sierra Crossfire,
Yeah.
but not that much. Not like game genre defining games. It just feels like Sony isn't putting anything into it. And
what would you rather have Sony do? Because I mean, obviously, I don't even know if it's a secret or like a badly kept secret. Sony's paying Capcom money to make the VR versions of these games, right? Sony is paying Capcom money to make Resident Evil 8 VR, Resident Evil 4 VR. Probably cost a lot of money. What would you rather Sony have done? Put money in and you get one Resident Evil 4 VR, or have Sony spend that money and give you an Astrobot 2 and maybe a Blood and Truth sequel? Which one would you prefer?
is there a reason we can't have one Resident Evil, an Astrobot, a Blood and Truth sequel? Why can't we have those rather than, again, the Resident Evils are going to run out. And if you're right, and they just take that money and they're like, okay, there's no more Resident Evils to be had, and next year we get those, then we're okay. But they
Yeah.
don't say anything. These obviously aren't coming from Sony. So it looks like they're just like, oh, well, all right, we're focusing on the Portal now. VR's whatever. Like they haven't
I
come out
mean,
with anything.
so
Like,
they only have so much money, right? And honestly, why would I pump a bunch of money into getting Resident Evil 4 out, get that hype cycle going? That's obviously the big PlayStation VR 2 holiday push. Is guess what? Resident Evil 4, the game you maybe already own, you now have a free VR version for it. Go out and buy that headset so you can play this. Why would they put money into something else to compete with that right now in the holiday season? I don't think so.
I'm
So
talking
what?
about yearly. I'm not saying right
I
now.
know. That's what I'm saying. We're not hearing anything right now beyond the smattering of things that we're getting. but I'd imagine next year, hey, Resident Evil 9 is a game that's in development. We know maybe that's going to have VR mode day one or shortly after it comes out. It seems like this engine's well suited to have VR components to it. Or maybe Sony's going to take this money. I think they threw money at the Vertigo guy to make Vertigo 2. Like they're doing the right things. And I honestly don't trust Sony with their own internal IPs to make a good VR game in their own right with their own IPs. They did that with Horizon Call of the Mountain, and it's pretty and it's fun, but it's nothing compared to Resident Evil 8. So from my perspective, I'd rather Sony just take a step back and be like, whatever for Sony titles, you guys make your good third-party games and put them in VR. And then we end up with these winner after winner chicken dinner.
I mean, I bet there's 10 games. I think if someone isn't in love with VR and they aren't covering VR, there's, I bet, 10 games I would say are worth playing, and that's it. The other one's not saying they're awful games, but they're not worth playing.
But 10 games for a console that are worth playing. That's a great number, especially for the first year of that system coming out. PS5 was out for 2 years, and I could think of maybe 3 games that felt like it was worth playing for the PS5.
See, it's really interesting because for VR, your quality that you enjoy is so low, but for flat games, it's so high. Like,
yeah,
it's got to be a world beater for a flat game. And even the world beaters you don't play. You don't play any of the Final Fantasies. You don't play, and well, you did play The Last of Us, but
those are like tired mechanics, right? Like I've seen what flat gaming is, right? It's very rare that a flat game comes out and does something new that really wows me. VR is in this cool experimental phase where people don't quite understand how things are supposed to work. They don't know the best way to, present cutscenes. They don't know the best way to open a door or throw a grenade or reload a gun. And we get to see this experimentation happen live. And when somebody does it well, it's that much more refreshing. And that's why these VR games, I'm happy to set the bar lower. And when they go over the bar, I get such greater satisfaction than when somebody can make another third-person action game that is a cover shooter and the guns look good and the graphics look good and the bad guys look good. Like that's what Last of Us is, right? Like Last of Us is a really good game, but what was it monumental that it did? Like finally maybe told a mature story.
I think the issue is you're not a plot man. All the games that I love is because they've got this thick, involved, like you have to be active in its plot. And if you are, it's incredible. But if you don't like that, then yeah, you're not gonna give a crap about the second Final Fantasy. You're not gonna give a crap about I don't do you even like Baldur's Gate? Do you care?
I want to play Baldur's Gate. I mean, I am a plot man. Like, I loved Mass Effect. That was one of the greatest stories ever
and
told.
I played it, and that plot sucked.
I think you are an event man, not necessarily a plot man. You want events to happen in a story. I'm a character man. I like a character-driven story. Final Fantasy games, you can pluck anybody out of the Final Fantasy games and put any other person in there, and it's more or less the same story. But Mass Effect is a game where, like, I don't care about, what happens to the Reapers in the end. Like, cool, you got to resolve that story. I care about what happens to Garrus and his character arc. I care about what happens to the Solarian and his character arc. I want to know what the relationships with Rex looks like over time. And to me, a lot of flat games just ignore that character interaction. And they're just like, let's tell a story where you rescue the president's daughter from Romanian zombies. And it's like, fine, like that gives me a motivation, but it's nothing that's really pulling me along.
What's the last Final Fantasy game you've played?
Oh goodness. I think I played Final Fantasy VI. One of the last ones on the Super Nintendo everybody said was amazing. I played like halfway through it, and then it got to this like awful grind fest about 3/4 the way through. And I was like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. Like the story, people talked about how the story was so good, and it was so like it was maybe a mid-tier novel in terms of story. Like a B movie that I would go see and be like, at least there weren't plot holes. Like I could say that. Like at least there weren't plot holes in the story.
Well, makes a lot of sense. And that comment you just mentioned about Final Fantasy, all I gotta say, try some of the new ones. I've watched plot stuff about Final Fantasy 6, but this isn't a flat game podcast. I thought it was interesting that most of these games I would not want to play, but there's a lot of flat games I want to play, and you're the opposite. And I just find that interesting. But it's why we get along, Alex.
You know
It's
what game
why
had a really good plot? You know what game had a really good plot? Two games.
Earthbound.
Returnal. Returnal had an incredible plot. Incredible. You get that thing is so deep, you'll never get to the bottom of it. And two, Armored Core 6. How in the hell did Armored Core 6 have like one of the best plots in video games I've ever seen in my life? And nobody would even know because they play through it and know, it's robots blowing stuff up. That's some
Yeah,
plot for you.
I mean, I don't care for robots, but I mean, yeah, I think Returnal had a good plot. Um, I mean, it did. I don't think it's one of the best ever, but
You don't even know
okay.
the half of it, man. You don't even know the half of it.
Oh,
Anyways,
I would because I looked it up because the game sucked so bad I couldn't play it. See, Returnal is a game I think would be good to have in VR too.
yeah.
That would be cool. That's maybe what they need to pump in next. I don't know.
I don't know how
So,
they do it, but I would love Returnal in VR. Yeah, I would lose my mind for that.
do we even have any sales? Do you want to look up sales? Cover those real quick.
Yeah, we could do some sales, Adam.
Obviously, we are so excited for Resident Evil 4. I can't wait. I mean,
Let's
I
give
would say we'll talk about it next week, but let's be honest, we're probably going to be playing Resident Evil 4
yeah.
because it does come out on the 8th. So then live, I'm going to look at our calendar. So probably the 15th, we're going to have our Christmas episode probably on the 15th. Um, I'm going to say the week after that, it's getting real close to Christmas. I don't know what our schedule is going to look like, but I mean, if it's 15 hours, I don't know. It would be cool if somehow I could beat it, but that's a lot of game to
We
play
gotta,
in a
yeah, we
week,
gotta do a
right?
live show. We gotta do a live show, live reaction on that Friday after Resident Evil coming out, just to let people know how we're feeling about it, because I know they
I
want to
don't even know
know.
if we're gonna have time to play it, man.
Yeah, I know what I'm like you, Adam. I'm gonna take the day off. I'm gonna take part of the day off.
Oh well. See, I don't know if I'm doing that. I guess if you actually do that, then yeah, you might be good.
Yeah, I haven't actually done it yet. It's hard to get PS prices to go, but we got some sales here, Adam. We got some sales, and they last
Okay,
a
let's go. Let's
good
go.
while. Racket Fury for 14.9. No, Racket Fury for 9.89.
Tennis on court's the only any type of ball meets racket game you need.
Except for the C Smash. Blink and the Vacuum of Space 9.99.
I don't even know. That sounds like a comic book or a TV show name for an episode. I'm not playing that.
Jurassic World Aftermath Collection 13.49.
What's the normal price on there?
29.99.
I mean, you're probably not gonna get cheaper than that. Let's be honest. If you like Jurassic Park, it might be worth it. I'm not gonna do it because I could care less about Jeff Goldblum. He can go suck a dino egg.
Trip, the meditation game, 29.99.
Like this shouldn't be a paid game. Like I would love to see the sales numbers on some of these games. That has to be less than what, Alex? 200 total downloads?
I kind of want to do it because this is like a subscription service on all the other headsets, but on Sony, I think you can't do a subscription service, so they just set the bar really high, the price really high, and it's like there you go, you have it for the rest of the life of the game.
You want to sit the headset is so uncomfortable. You just want to sit there and listen to freaking birds chirping and a guy peeing
Maybe
in the background. It sounds like a waterfall.
that's just me peeing in the background
I'll
while you're
pee in
playing
your
the
ear
game.
if you want.
Yeah.
Next.
Dyschronia, episode 2, 9.99.
I don't like visual novels. I'm not playing this. I would never play this. It could be $3. I don't
Okay.
care.
Dyschronia 1 and Dyschronia 3, I mean, they're all $10 each. I'd say if you can get all three of them for like $20, that's a pretty good deal if you're individual novels. Adam, how about The Last Worker for 9.99?
No, only because it didn't look very fun when you played it. I'm only going by your stream, which of course you liked, but you like everything, so you can't.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but yeah, there was a little bit there. Brain Beats for 869.
Brain beats. No.
Puzzling Places DLC Behind High Walls for 359.
I would have to see what puzzle pack that is. I don't remember. I mean, some you can get puzzles for like $1
Yeah,
on puzzling places, especially if you watch for a sale, and some of them are already $1.
this is
Unless
that
you,
sale, baby.
if you really like it, it might be worth it. But there's enough there that that's kind of expensive. I mean, the whole game itself is like $10 or something, isn't it?
What about What the Bat for 14.99?
No, less than $10. I'll pull the trigger.
I think I got it. I just haven't touched it.
Go
VR
figure.
Skater 22.74.
VR Skater, how much?
$22.74.
The thing is, that's a good game, man. I mean, I'm gonna say $22 is worth it, but I swear I would really like it at 20 or lower. I mean, that's when I would be like, okay, you gotta play it.
Yeah, it does seem like a 1999 game. Fantavision 2020X 13.99.
No,
Synth Riders Remastered Edition 17.49.
I don't like synth riders. I think it's boring. I think the music isn't very good. It's very much a knockoff, cheapo, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Goodwill version of Beat Saber. Of course, Alex is gonna
Yeah, I really like
argue
it.
and say it's better than Beat Saber,
I
but
like the
that's my
music
opinion.
better than Beat Saber. Um,
Wow, you're so wrong. Holy,
Altair Breaker for $20.99.
I want that less than 20 from. It looks too generic to me.
Yeah, look pretty generic. Paper Beast Enhanced Edition 17.49.
Wasn't that free in PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, and I think there's an upgrade path or something like that.
Yeah, so I can't
And you're
do
not
it.
going to play it on PlayStation Plus either. Yeah, Adam, Hubris for $20.99.
No, that game is like it's just so cliche and it's not that great. It needs to be less than $20 for me to suggest it.
This you put that at like number 6 on our list. Kayak VR Mirage 1609.
By the way, that's proof on how many not great games there are on the PSVR 2. Also, it's definitely not 6. You're nuts. It's outside the top 10 easily. What
It's
game
number
did you
12,
just
but yeah.
Yeah. What game?
Kayak VR Mirage, $16.09.
It's a beautiful game, but
They added Halloween level. Or not
oh,
Halloween, Christmas level with Christmas
that's
lights
cool.
and stuff. That'll probably look good.
That's cool. I think this got to be $12. I mean, it's so limited in what it can provide.
Okay. Red Matter 1 for 14.99.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was that great. I mean, if I didn't play it upgraded, if it has better graphics and stuff, then and you want to get into that series, I think that's probably the best you're gonna do.
What about Afterlife VR for $11.24?
Right now, that's the second best horror game that I've played on PSVR 2.
Yeah, you put that at number 20 on our list, Adam.
Yep.
Tennis on Court for 27.99.
25
I'm
bucks.
I'm intrigued about this. I think when that drops down to 15, like I'm gonna maybe 20. I'm probably gonna get it just so I can
Dude, I
see
will
it.
play with you hardcore. I mean, me and Shave had a good time. I like it. I still played the game. It's one of the games I've played the most, to be honest. It's got replay value. It's jank, but if you just accept it and you don't take it too seriously, I think it's fun.
Do you think it is as fun as Kizuna AI Touch the Beat for 27.99?
Oh, no way. No way. Kazuna AI, definitely. I'm playing that for $3.99. Anything more than that, it can go shove it up your AI butthole.
What are these games? Right, I want to play this game sometime, but I know I'm gonna be like maybe I'll get it and it'll be really good, and then
We're
I'll
we're
play it and
running
it'll
out of
suck.
time. We gotta
Yeah,
go. We
that's it.
gotta
That's the
go.
last game. That's the last game.
Oh, well, then in that case, you can shove it up your AI butthole, Alex. We want to thank you for listening to Play PSVR 2, the podcast. I hope you're as excited for Resident Evil 4 as we are. I mean, I told Alex's mom, I was like, next weekend, don't even come over. That's how excited I am. It is wild. So if she's not at my house, she can be at your house, but only if you contact us, email, YouTube, the not the G zone.
The
Let
G
me know
zone.
how funny is that G zone? Am I gonna be in my G zone in Resident Evil 4? Are you gonna be in the G zone? We want to hear from you. Thanks again for listening to Play PSVR 2, the podcast where virtual reality is our reality. Blammo!